Hello, my name's Mike, and I brought a watch along, hoping that Kim can help us.
I'm Lynn, and I brought a wallet that belonged to my son Dan. We're just hoping that Kim can make contact with him and maybe find out what actually happened the night that he passed away.
This is the first time we've done a couple on the show, but I do couple reads all the time and family reads as well too, you know, especially if they're grieving, you know, grieving somebody, you know, all of them want to be there when this person comes through, so.
Hello, hi, hello, hi.
Hello.
Okay, so it's your son who's passed over. Have a seat, your son has passed over. Sorry, been picking him up since this morning. I've been saying, who's coming? Who's the young boy? Has he lost a friend as well too? Because it just seemed he had a cohort up there with him as well too. So I don't know if he ever lost a friend at another time in an accident or something like that. But it just seemed like he had a buddy up there with him as well.
We
too.
have a friend who lost a son.
Okay, you know
Yes.
what? I just felt the two of them were sort of buddying each other, picking them up all morning, even when I was in the shower this morning.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I think he likes to do that. Just want you to know that he's okay. He had has a grandfather with him as well too. So I don't know who's lost a dad, but have you lost your dad?
No.
No.
There's no dads. It feels
No.
like he had a grandfather with him.
You've lost your grandfathers.
Maybe he was
I've
kind of
lost- I've
pointing
lost
to
a grandfather, yeah.
Okay, I guess I thought it was a grandfather to him, but it just feels like he's got a grandfather. Danny, right? Danny,
Yes.
Danny boy, Danny boy.
Yes.
Who's Jeff? Jeff as well too. That was another name that he was bringing forward. Is that
Jeff.
you have another son?
No, no. Jeff was a friend. Our son is not called Jeff, our other son.
He's not okay. He's
No.
talking about somebody named Jeff as well too, and that's
Yes.
a person who's living. Is that right? Might be
Yes.
a friend of
Yes.
his or something
Yes.
like that. Okay, lots of. I want you to know that he's okay. I know you think about him all the time. It seems like you've been thinking about him a lot lately as well too. A lot of questions, a lot of mystery around his passing over, and he's just saying, "Don't believe what everybody tells you." You know, the professionals and the police and stuff like that, because it wasn't the way that they laid it out. Feels like this investigation was botched. I think they said it was a suicide, but you know what? And I tell people, you know, there's a lot of people who come to me, parents that say, you know, our child committed suicide. We don't really believe it. And if I get that it was a suicide, I say, you know what? But I don't get that this was. There's something about the way he was positioned. It's something about the way he was found. And he was hung. Is that right? Is what it was?
That's
okay.
what they
That's
said.
That's what they say.
Yes.
You know, but I just feel like he could have put his feet down and touched the ground where he was found. So you know
Yes.
what? It just seems like almost like something happened before as well too, and then he was put into that position. I guess there was an autopsy, but it doesn't feel like it was very thorough. I feel like they wrote it off right away as a suicide. Did the police take pictures or photographs or
No.
anything
No.
like that?
No.
You know, at the very least, I feel like this investigation was botched. Is what it feels like to me. I just feel like they sort of wrote it off to a suicide and didn't investigate anymore. It feels like two other people were in the house at some time. He had a roommate.
Yes.
Who's David?
Yes.
Is that his David
Yes.
was his roommate?
Yes.
Okay, and a female as well too. So I don't
Yes.
know if your son had a girlfriend or
Maybe
if
David's
It was
girlfriend.
it was
David's.
David's girlfriend. So
Yes.
they may have been the ones who found them. I mean, to say the least,
Yes,
they
they
were
did.
shocked. But I think even for knowing them or knowing Dan as well as they did, that they're saying that they didn't think that it was a suicide as well too. You show me a note or a letter that came in the mail. I don't know
Yes.
if your son sent one. He didn't leave a note though, did he?
No, he
no,
didn't.
because it wasn't a suicide. I don't buy into the fact that it was.
No.
I don't think so. He had some trouble at work.
Yes.
He had
Yes,
some work
that's
difficulties.
right,
Is what he stood up for the right thing. It's kind of what it feels like to me, and it feels
It
like
was
he made.
between him and,
And the
Jeff.
Oh, and Jeff,
that's
is
where
that
he
what
comes
it was? Okay, somebody
Yes.
lost their job. So
Dan
I don't know if
did.
that was Dan did.
Yes.
Okay, for it feels like he blew the whistle on somebody, or
He-
somebody
He.
somebody lied about him.
Yes.
No. Yes, that's
Yes.
it. So somebody might have made up a story. I feel like there was some jealousy, some envy issues, or whatever. And he had some sort of an altercation or something, or I don't know if it was physical, but a verbal one, anyways, with
Yes.
this Jeff guy. And I feel like did he contribute to Dan losing his job?
Yes, he
Is
did.
that what it was? Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like that almost wasn't enough for him. I don't know why he was jealous or envious. And he made up some sort of a lie or story, because I feel like he was totally shocked that he lost his job, because he'd been doing a fabulous job.
Yes, he
Is
had.
what it feels like. He says he has the
Yes.
same work ethic as his dad. So, you know, he was a hardworking guy, and you know, but I feel like he kind of walked away from the situation. He was out at the bar or at a party or something the night that this happened, and I just feel like there was lots of friends around and stuff like that.
Yes.
But he didn't have as much to drink as people think he did. So I don't know if they said that he had a lot to drink, but I don't get a sense that he did.
The medical examiner told us that his alcohol limit was really high,
yeah.
and we couldn't see that because he didn't
You know
have
what?
enough money.
I think he drank. I think he had a beer or two.
Yes,
like
but-
I don't think
Yeah.
he didn't, but I don't get a sense that he had
Well,
that much alcohol. For the amount of alcohol that they're saying, I don't think he would have been able to do what they said
No,
he did
and
afterwards.
that was our
It just doesn't
question.
add up. Did you go back to the
I
bar?
went to the yes.
Yes,
I went
you went back to the bar, and I think
and
you talked to somebody, two people
barman.
maybe, the
Yeah.
barman, and did you talk to a waitress or something?
Yes.
A female.
Yeah.
So she's a waitress, and I think he was there for a while, but I don't think that he was falling down or was drunk
No.
or was ever.
No,
and they
he-
knew him.
He
because
said he
it-
had 1 or 2 pints.
Yeah, that's exactly
And then there
what
was
it was.
another one poured, and he left before. Just left it on the counter.
Left it on the counter. Somebody may have
That's what I
bought that
was
for him. But they knew him. Like I feel like he had been in there
Oh,
before,
yes.
so this might have been what y'all
Yeah,
call his local.
he drank there all the time.
Yeah, was it like a
After
tavern,
work,
a pub
yeah.
tavern? It had
Yeah.
that. I don't know if it was attached to a hotel or not.
Boston
but-
Pizza.
Boston Pizza,
bar.
that's it, a
Yes.
restaurant. But
Yeah.
he used to frequent in there, go in there for a beer or something like
Yeah,
that. So
he
it
knew
wasn't.
them
They
very
remembered
well.
him. They knew exactly who you were talking about.
Yeah.
Now he's showing me newspaper clippings. Now I would imagine there was an obituary, but
Yes.
was it in the paper or anything like this?
Yeah.
What happened? The incident or anything like that?
Just
Is this 7 years ago? 7, 8 years
8
ago?
years,
8 years ago?
yes.
Okay, that's what he's telling me. Feels like you've been writing a bunch of letters, trying to bring attention to this, maybe trying to reopen the case. They really should.
I went to the police
Did you?
a couple of times because we weren't happy with what happened. We wasn't happy with the verdict of suicide at all. And as far as the police are concerned, they just said, well, as far as they're concerned, they've done everything right, and it was a suicide. We couldn't get anywhere with
I
them.
think if they did do everything right and had thoroughly investigated it, and they
Exactly.
still came back and said that either they don't know it was a suicide, I think that you could have accepted that. But I just feel like that it really wasn't investigated all that well. I see his knees bent. I see
Yes.
his knees bent. So I don't know if it was in a stairwell or what it was, but it just feels like he could have straightened his feet out and he could have
Well,
touched.
exactly, 'cause-
he could have touched the floor.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was 6'2", and I think the stairwell would
was
have
about
been 6
6
feet
foot.
from
This
the
is
bottom.
what this is one of the first things we
Yes.
said was something suspicious here.
Something
Doesn't make sense.
suspicious there,
Yes.
just about the way he was positioned or about the
Exactly,
way that
yeah.
he was. Did he have a head injury or anything like that, or a grazing on the head or something to do
They
with the
said
head injury?
there were
we
no
don't know.
injuries.
There's a lot of things, broken ashtrays, and we thought, well, why was the ashtray broken?
Why would he
Perhaps
do
somebody
that?
hit on the side of the head. We don't
Outside
know.
of the head, it just feels like a concussion or something like that. I almost saw like a grazing or a bruising
He
on
had quite
his
thick
on
hair.
his beautiful hair.
Yes.
So I don't know if he
The
had
thick
beautiful
hair.
hair, beautiful
Very thick
thick hair.
Not
Yeah.
like mine.
No, he got that from
It
his
was
mama.
very vain
Yeah.
about his hair too.
Was he? Yeah. He just tells me that he's got
Yeah.
it. He's got it all. Is he the younger of your
Yes.
two children? Is
Yeah.
he says he comes in as the baby.
Yeah.
As your baby. He knows how much you love him and how much you miss him and all that. And keep talking to him. I think you do talk to him on
we
a
do.
fairly regular basis. It feels like you've been talking to somebody big professional wise, somewhere in the police department or something like that. I don't know if it's a detective or I think you may have hired a private detective
We
or
did.
We
something
did.
like that.
Yes.
That didn't really work out for you. Is
No,
kind of what it feels
it
like
didn't.
to me. Didn't really find anything too much.
Didn't try
It's
too
Melissa.
hard, as far as I can say.
Yeah, I don't think he tried too hard either.
No.
I don't.
No.
He didn't dig very
And I
deep.
think he kind of took advantage of it because you're agreed.
Yeah, it cost us.
Well, sure. Well, of course it
time.
did cost you a lot of money. If somebody's going to help you, you don't really care what it costs.
No.
As long as you're going to get the result that you anticipate or some sort of an answer. Okay. He's just sort of validating that happened. Are you wearing some jewelry of his or something? Is somebody wearing? What's that necklace you're wearing, Lynn? Does that have? Oh, Angel. That's probably. Him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
probably.
somebody bought this for me just after Dan died. Actually,
You
Is that
got
right?
you got a letter or something after he passed over, something in the mail, or somebody did.
Yes.
But in connection to your son, but it doesn't feel like he wrote it.
No.
So it feels like a female actually wrote, somebody who loved him and cared about him,
Mm.
and kind of knew him, kind of knew his personality and
Would
stuff
you
like
know
that.
who it was that wrote it?
We'll just put that thought out there. Who's Melissa?
Melissa. Oh, I don't.
Miranda? Do you have a girlfriend?
Did Dan? Mm-hmm. There's possibly could be Candace.
Candace?
Could be Candace, or there's quite a lot of girls. I think there was a Melissa, but
Is there Melissa?
he worked
And then there's a
with
girl like Jenna. Or
Jana.
Jana.
Yes,
Jana
that was
like
a
that.
girlfriend
That
of
was
one
a
of his friends.
One of his friends? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it was somebody who wrote the note. It wasn't. It was to help, is what
Yes,
it feels like
because
to me. I
the
don't know what the
note-
contents were.
The
but
note
it-
went to Candice.
Oh, went
Yes.
to Candace. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And
Dan
it
knew
was sent to
lots
her.
of girls that we didn't know all of the names.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it was written by somebody who knew him, like knew his personality, and just didn't believe that he had committed suicide.
Yes.
He was a happy lad.
Yes.
He was. Didn't you just
Yeah.
see him the day before this happened or something?
2 days before, yeah.
And he had no care in the world. Didn't
No.
have a care in the world. He came for a meal, I think, what he
Yeah.
should do. A meal and...
Come to do his laundry. And
I was just going to say something about clothing, do his
Oh, yeah.
laundry, get a meal.
5
and,
bags.
Yeah, and you know what? He had lost his job, but he was getting ready to start another one.
Yes.
As
he
well,
was,
too. So
yeah.
he may have been starting the next day or the following
Yes,
Monday. This may
the
have
next
happened
day.
over a weekend.
It was actually
Yeah.
the day he died on the Thursday morning, and it was that day he was to go to the job.
You know,
to
I just don't
see
think
the
he would have
man.
done his laundry and
That's what we
you
said.
know,
And ironed it. He
and
ironed it.
And of course, British, they iron everything. I come from that family, that kind of. And he wouldn't have gone looking for a job. And he says he did get the job quite quickly. He did get the job quick, but he wouldn't have lined all that up. And it feels like part of the laundry and stuff was getting ready to start. Getting ready to start a new job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're trying to bring some attention to this to see if they can reopen the case and investigate it properly. He says, you know, they could do that. I wish they had taken pictures. I wish
Yes.
they had taken photographs of the scene when it happened, because that's, I think, is where all the evidence is. It's like when you look at it, you go, just like you did when you told them when they told you where it was. You were like, he's 6'2". How did that happen?
yes, a lot of things that just didn't make
Lots
sense.
of-
Somebody brought a
Even-
belt. He didn't use a belt, did he?
No,
Was it leather?
no, it wasn't. They said it was a bed sheet.
Mm.
That's what they said.
This is another thing that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No,
to
it
me.
doesn't make a lot of sense to me as well, too.
Mm. And
It doesn't add up. It doesn't. He was home alone, right? Was home alone, but I just feel like somebody came in the back door. It's
no,
kind of, so I almost
he wasn't
feel,
alone. Dave.
Well, that's what they
Christy were
said.
Oh yeah, and the
Yes.
girlfriend. But I feel like, but he came home alone, right? In his car or in his vehicle. Is that what
He
they said?
walked. He left his
Then
car.
somebody followed him in a car.
Yeah,
It's kind
they
of what
did.
it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And this Jeff character, I don't know if they said at the pub or at the bar that he was there as well
Yes,
too
he
that
was,
night.
yeah.
He was, and I don't know, just couldn't let it go.
This is the reason why he left. They had an argument in the bar.
Yeah.
Ah, that's
Dan
right.
left.
And Dan left,
We
yeah.
don't know what
Was
happened to
upset.
Jeff,
That's
It
why he
just
left
feels
the
like
beer.
he followed him.
him,
He followed him
possibly.
home. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
Mm.
They must have been passed out sleeping, his roommates.
Could have been.
Yeah, because
we
it's like
got
they didn't hear anything or they came in afterwards.
probably
I don't know.
2 or 3 different stories. So
Oh,
we don't.
is that
Which is
right?
another thing we thought,
Yeah.
well, this doesn't add up. All this.
That just doesn't add up. Okay. Who's Jack? Jack.
Jack.
Somebody who's living. Are you trying to get the attention of somebody named Jack to help you? Something
Oh,
to help you with the
We
investigation?
were
or
thinking
something?
about going to perhaps Jack Beaton, the police chief.
Oh, our
Oh.
police chief here. Oh,
Yeah, we
the big
haven't,
kahuna
but we've
guy.
thought
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Well, it can't hurt to write a letter. I don't know if you've done that.
Not
And it feels
yet.
like you've documented everything. I don't know who's
Yes.
keeping all these records. He's like, oh my, is that you, Lynn? Is that right?
Yeah,
It just feels
kept
like you've
it.
got a book or books and you've journaled and recorded
Yeah.
everything every time you talk to somebody about this. Oh, it's
Yes,
tickling my nose.
sticky
Okay.
notes.
Yeah, that's it. He's got all kinds of right. He wants you to know that he's in a fabulous place. He's having the time of his
right.
life.
He doesn't actually say what happened at all. He doesn't give you.
Well,
any
I kind of feel like somebody was he in a house or something. Was there 2 doors
Yes.
that you hit, like a back door and a front
back door,
door?
front door, yeah,
Patio
French
door
patio
at the
door.
back.
So it was a 2-story house or something.
Yes,
like
a
that?
townhouse.
Okay. A townhouse. Okay.
Yes.
And was it in the stairwell, or was he found in the stairwell, or so they said?
Yes, as they said.
They said. Okay. Did you not find out for a long time after this? It seems like an incredible amount, or a long time to find out that something had happened to your son.
Well,
Was it not for 24 hours after this happened?
No, it was what happened. They said that David found him at about 5:40 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and the cop didn't come to our house until nearly 8 o'clock to tell us, because they had said that they didn't know who we were and where we were, but
Oh,
they
maybe
did.
that's it. There was some kind of
So there was a
confusion or
delay
something. There was some sort
in
of
it for that. He was
confusion.
trying to find us, but they
He's
did
talking about
know
a
where
cell
we
phone
were.
too. He's talking about. Did he have a cell phone?
He did.
He did. I don't know why he's bringing that. He's talking something about his
Yes.
cell phone. Okay. I don't know. It feels like he came home. I see him turning the key and coming
Yes.
into his house, and just feels like he was coming home to go to bed. You know, it's kind of what it feels like to me. And I almost think somebody came through the back door. Was it the back door? I don't know if I had a screen, but I see the door open.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
was just like it was left open, like somebody
It could
came
have
through.
been.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't get into a fight outside, did they? I guess you don't know. Eh?
No,
'Cause
we
I almost
all,
think he met him because if your son was walking, somebody was following in a car.
do you think that anything would ever come out?
Well,
of
I think
this?
if you find the right person, I guess,
Yes.
police officer to investigate it, and I think at the very least will get. You know, we may not be able to solve this for you, but we will say that we did do something wrong and we could have investigated
Yes.
it more. And if we had, something might have been happened at that time.
It was just taken for granted that it was a suicide.
That's what I mean, and I feel like
Yes.
only one police officer came out, and I feel like he kind of looked at the situation and phoned an ambulance or phoned a coroner or phoned somebody. But I just feel like there was a lot of things that could have been
Yeah.
done.
Yes.
That's very
Do you have an
true.
autopsy?
No,
No.
they didn't
See,
do that.
that's what they should have. They just wrote it off
Yeah.
because I feel like there was some sort of injury on the back of the top back. He's going back here on his head, so you can't like knock yourself out. and
No.
then pick yourself up and stuff like that. So
I
feel
don't
like
think
this
that
was.
if he was in the condition that the medical examiner said, he wouldn't be able to do
Well, that's
that.
just it. If he was sloshed,
We all know
salsa
that.
like that, he would never have been able
No.
to get a bed sheet, tie it up, and do all that kind of stuff. There's no way.
No.
There's no way at all. No.
So it just
And
doesn't
he knew that he
seem
could always
right.
come to the two of you. You were
Yes.
like a wide open door. If
Well,
you ever
this
had
is it,
problems or
yeah.
whatever, he says you always bailed him out.
Bailed him out.
You know, you always did. You always helped him with
All
money,
he-
helped him with anything that he
could
needed.
have picked up the phone.
That's right. And
Yeah.
he said he never felt for 5 minutes in his entire life that he couldn't turn
Yes.
to the two of you and come and get
Yes.
help. So why wouldn't he? And he says, what? Over losing a job?
Yeah.
You know? If he'd
Yeah.
been chronically depressed and maybe that might have, but he says over that there was no way. There was
No.
he said he had felt too that he had got a better job, that this led him actually to a better job and a better position, the one that he
Yes.
was going to start.
Would have
So
been,
he really
yeah.
had no regrets. He didn't like the fact that he was judged and what happened at
No.
his other job.
No.
But he said that it wasn't the end of the world.
Exactly.
No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't the end of the world.
No. And that would probably, in the end, what would have happened, the union was to be dealing with it, and they would have got him his job back. It
well,
was just
there
the
you
fact they were dealing with the bargaining
The
contract
bargain,
at that
yeah,
time.
because I just
And it got put on hold. But had he said that he was guilty of what he was accused of, he wouldn't have lost his job anyway.
So, yeah,
So
so I just, you know
there
what,
was
I don't
all
think it
screwed
was
up.
enough
No.
for anything. He had lots of good friends. Everybody liked him.
Yes.
He was a funny guy. He had a
Yes.
good sense of humor, you know. So
He was everybody's friend. That
he
was his downfall.
Yeah.
Yes, it's right.
That was what was really hard on him.
Okay. Well, he wants you to know that he's having the time of his life.
Good.
Yeah, that's good.
And, it's like he's riding a motorcycle up there or something
Could
like
be.
that. I don't know if you ever had a motorbike.
Or do they
No.
have motorbikes?
I don't know, but it's just like, woo, he's just having the time of his life.
Could
Who's
be safer
37?
than 37.
He was in the early or in their 30s. How old's your son? Your other son?
He's
Not that old.
35.
Oh, 35.
Yeah.
Something good coming for him in the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's
in his
good.
personal life.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been.
Is he a computer guy or something like that?
Well, he works in electronics.
Electronics.
Yes.
that's it. Okay. I mean, obviously his brother thinks about him a lot.
He does,
He
yeah.
does. Yeah,
Yes.
he does. He
It,
says, "Tell him that I love
it
him."
was tough on him.
Very
Did you
tough.
see him yesterday?
Not
No.
yesterday. We phoned him yesterday.
Talk to him.
Talk to him yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Well, he says,
Yes.
tell him that I love him.
Yes.
He doesn't believe it either.
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't.
Does it? Well, that's great. Hopefully you'll get some answers on this, but
really
he
hope
just wants
so.
you to know that if nobody else does, he validates everything that you're feeling. You knew him better
Good.
than anybody,
Good.
right?
that's
So, and at the very least, I think that they should have investigated this
Yes.
better. So, and hopefully maybe you'll get an admittance of that.
I hope
Yeah.
You know,
so.
an
be-
autopsy at the very least
yes.
should have been done. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
It just seems
It
ridiculous.
should have been
that was,
some
yeah.
questions asked.
Asked. They should have talked to his friends and
Yes.
stuff like that, and I just don't think that they did.
No.
So,
No.
and as a human being, he should have had that. That
Yes.
should have been, that was his right.
Yes.
Well, he loves you both very, very much. He
And
knows
we
how
love
much
him.
you miss him.
Yes.
And just want you to know that he's always around and he's. Does he look like you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just feels like he's the image of you.
Yeah,
He
but-
keeps showing he's got more hair.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. He's got your,
Yeah.
your thick hair, but it just feels like you have his father's face.
Because the eldest one, Gary, takes after.
Yes.
them.
Is that right? But this, he looks like you.
They
Did he wear
walk the
glasses
same.
as
Yeah.
well?
Well,
Yes,
it
he
was
did,
supposed.
didn't
It's
he? Yeah, he was
supposed
supposed
to.
to.
He's
He's
supposed to
vain
have
to
why
him.
to see. He just put his glasses on.
Yeah.
Do you still have his clothes and stuff like that?
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them. I don't know if you're going through them recently, maybe because you were coming here. I don't know.
Gary took quite a lot of Dan's
Dan's
clothes
clothes,
because they
and
were
maybe
the
he
same
wears
size,
them
and I think he's
something.
still got
A
some.
jacket he still wears sometimes.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
a jacket.
Has a
Dan's.
jacket.
He had a nice sport, like a red, maroony colour sports
Nice.
coat,
Yeah.
which he thought he was quite something in. Gary
I think
still
he was
got it.
quite a good dresser and
Yeah,
stuff. Like
he
you say,
was.
worried about his hair, but he always smelled
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He said he always smelled good when you used
Yeah.
to give him a hug. You said,
Yes.
just have a shower.
Obsession was obsession
that
for men.
right?
Yeah.
Well, he's a beautiful lad. I can hear Danny boy. That's the Irish, probably what I'm
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
hearing. Yeah, and just want you to know that he's okay. Somebody dreamt about him recently.
I do.
Yeah,
you did.
and I did too.
Is that right? He's just visiting
Yes.
dream. Just let you know that he's okay. Well, there you go. Anything else you want to know? Maybe this being on the show might help you with.
I
your,
hope
with
so,
Your, yeah, to
Kim.
bring maybe
It's
somebody will investigate. it a little bit
Validated everything that we
more. Oh,
have
that's
thought
good.
for 8
He's a
years.
handsome kid.
Yes.
If it doesn't, I mean, it's lifted a cloud off of,
And now
off of us.
we know.
You know the truth,
that the
right?
truth now.
Yes.
and
You
it's-
do. You know the truth, and
And it's been hard 8
I
years.
can hard 8 years. Yeah, you got some happy things coming. I think there's a baby coming into your family here in the. Poke your other son. Tell me. He's a little shy.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
is.
little shy. He's a little quiet, but
He's
I
very
think somebody's going
shy.
to shake him up here in the next year or so.
Oh, that's good to
And
hear.
That's
just
good.
Get a grandchild or two out of the deal.
That would be nice.
That'd be
Okay.
wonderful.
That would be
I
wonderful.
don't know what he'll think about that. But
Say, what are you, lazy? Yeah. Have some children.
yeah, he
Okay.
is. He is very
Okay.
shy. Not
Very
like
shy.
Dan.
Yeah, no,
but-
he's the quieter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks very much.
You're
you,
welcome.
Kim.
Thanks
Great.
for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Give us a hug.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Whoops.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, just carry that in your hand. Wow, that was a real powerful read. It's really hard and it's really stressful if you think that your child committed suicide, and it does happen. But I didn't get a sense that this kid committed suicide, and since he was showing me all the events that led up to his passing over, I don't think that it was, and I think at the very least that this needs to be investigated properly. I don't know.
Well, fantastic, actually.
Just amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
She described Dan exactly
Yeah.
as the person that he was and is, and just validated everything that we've been wondering for the last 8 years.
I mean, to get Dave, the roommate, I mean,
Every
wow.
name, she's got it, right down to personalities and what actually did happen and the concerns that we have had.
If it does get resolved, we don't know, but as I said to Kim, at least we know, it's, and that's comforting, for the family.
It's very hard. We've gone through the notes that we have and to maybe put something together to take it back to the police, but it's a very hard thing to do and to know how to do it the right way. But Kim has given us so much hope and so much reality here that really helps. Maybe that we can get it through.
That is
We-
the extra push we needed to perhaps
Yeah,
look into it again,
I don't know if anybody will help, but let's hope there's somebody out there that's willing just to take a little bit of time just to question a few people and investigate it properly.